Hello guys, and welcome to another replay analysis. This is a Protoss versus Zerg of the gold/plat category. This is gonna be a fucking game, dude. This is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be crazy.
Good luck, have fun, and beat 'em, probably.
Oh man, how I missed that, man. Alright, dude. So you got your first pylon going down. That's fucking close, man. Holy shit, that's close, dude. Blocking your nexus. That's questionable. If your pylon was like right there, I would say that would be a little bit better. Also, I don't like pylon scouts. Just in general, keep this in mind. Everybody does pylon scouts. People need to stop freaking out. People need to stop freaking out, man. If you pylon scout a Zerg, let me just throw it out there. If you pylon scout a Zerg, or if you gateway scout a Zerg, so if you wait until you build a gateway and then scout the Zerg, you will still get to a Zerg's base before Lings pop out of his hatchery and run down the ramp and somehow get it across the map and you don't even realize they're there. That's impossible. And why is it impossible? Because this is Legacy of the Void, not Wings of Liberty. And every single map in 1v1 in Legacy of the Void has one spawn location for you and your opponent. So that guarantees you can always go to the first correct base. Back when there was a thing where you could spawn in multiple locations where, like, let's say the guy could spawn here, or here, or here, pylon scouting was actually more relevant then because you might go to the wrong spot first and you really need to figure out what the fuck he's doing with the possibility that he might be going, or he might be in the wrong base that you're going to. Like, he might be in the other location. So, keep that in mind. Like, that's when it was relevant. Nowadays, it's not so relevant to pylon scout because you'll still get to his base before he does anything if you gateway scout. And here's the big thing. You have 2 probes off the middle line right now when you only have 13 on it entirely at this point in time. This sucks. It's more mining lost that you don't need to do. And here's the crazy thing. What are we going to do with this probe? If you block his natural, this is the only time I would ever say this is worth. So if we're talking about scouting, not worth it. But if we're talking about being aggressive, it could be worth it then. For instance, if you were going to build a pylon right here and be like, fuck you, Zerg, go build your base over there instead. And you were like, I'm going to follow this up with the depths. That would make sense. That would make more sense then. But if that again is designed for like Masters players or GM players. I'm not gonna lie. Players who actually pylon scout, or not pylon scout, they pylon block and then scout and then annoy you and then also go adepts right after. Protosses who actually know how to use that properly are like 6,000 MMR or above. If you have a Protoss player who's like 5,400 MMR who does that, or like 5,200 MMR who does that, from my perspective as Zerg, I don't even give a shit because they don't even know how to use adepts properly. There is a big difference between players who do and don't know how to use an adept properly and players who are like 6k plus do know how to use an adept properly. And those are the kinds of players that I would say it's fucking annoying when they block your hatchery. If you're not that kind of a player already, I would not recommend this. It's the only benefit of what you're doing. And I don't even think you're going to do it because you're rallying into his base right away. So it's just, obviously that's irrelevant. I was just giving you an idea of why you see people do that if you watch someone stream or something. Or a tournament player. See, like right now, you would have seen this if you scouted 20 seconds later because you waited for your pylon to finish and made a gate. You would have seen all of this anyways, and nothing would have changed. For like your scout and your reaction. But what would have changed is you would have had more money faster. So, check this out too. Throwing this out there and just saying this. This Zerg is going for a pool and a gas, right? And you have a gateway and you see no natural. I just want you to know that you could take a Nexus. I think your Nexus might be blocked, by the way. But I think, but let's pretend it wasn't. I think you could take a Nexus before you make another gateway. And the reason why is because this pool is not a 13 pool or a 12 pool. Or even a 14 pool. This pool is like a 17 pool. And how can you tell that? This dude's pool is almost... It's even later than your gateway. It's like, look at the production time. By the way, a pool and a gateway build the same speed. By the way. So just keep that in mind. Just understand that a pool and a gateway have the same build time. Now look at this. This thing is at 11, like you can't mouse over it and go, oh, it's 11 seconds of the way done, but just look at it, right? Look at it. It's like 25% of the way done, roughly. And look at yours. It's like 30% of the way done. It's like a little bit further ahead. Maybe like 33%. What, like, we're going off of the eyeballing. Maybe like 35%. You get my point though? Like this, just stare at this, and now get ready to look at the pool. The pool is less than the gate. Now here's a big thing, okay? Here's the big thing. You can make a pool before you make an overlord as Zerg, because you start with one, and you can just that's just how a Zerg is. You can make a pool before you make an overlord, and if the Zerg does that, your gateway, the way it is right now, would be the way it is right now. But if he went pool first before overlord, his pool would be done right now, or it would be almost done. It would be like there, or it would be done. If it was a 12 pool, it'd be done already. So, if it was one of those pools, based off of the, how the Zerg is, I'd be like, yeah, you probably want to get a fucking, more gates. This dude, and also here's the thing too. Look at his larva. Here's another thing. Not only should you look at his pool, look at his larva. He has 0 larva sitting there. Fucking 0. If a Zerg has 0 larva sitting there, there is no need to overreact and build gates. And again, all this information that I'm saying might be going out the window because your pylon is fucked up. But I just want you to understand that concept in general. There is no reason to freak out from a Zerg who goes for a pool like this, because what this is this Zerg is freaking out because he's like, I fucking hate cannon rush. That's why he does this. I fucking hate proxy zealots and I hate cannon rush. So I'm going to go for a pool, a safety pool at like 17 supply, and then I'll expand. And then I'll make drones with it. And that way, just in case he cannon rushes me, I can make spines and lings. All that stuff. This guy hates cannon rushes. He hates it so much that he's willing to fuck his own build up defensively to make sure he can make lings faster against people who make cannons. From a Zerg's perspective, this build sucks. For standard ladder play, this build, all it does every game, if that's what he does, is it puts him behind. It just puts him behind. I hate this build. Now, from your perspective, your build's fine up until the point when you made another gateway. Because now you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to be aggressive. Also, I don't like the way you built your wall. Always build your wall in a way where you give a one gap doorway off of your first gate to your second gate, or your second building. It should be your core usually, unless you're doing a PvP and you're going double gate opener. But I don't think double gate opener is really that great against Zerg, because again, it puts you in a position where you have to be aggressive. But for instance, if you try to put your gateway above one off of the like if you, I don't know, I don't think you can actually fit your gateway overlapping this gate by 1 and moving it up by 1, like right there. So that green box would be the doorway. I don't think you could make the pylon would be in the way right there. This pylon is just awkward. This pylon is in the most awkward position ever. What you can do, however, though, you can overlap the gateways like this, right there. You can do it like that right there. Okay, but instead, you can have the gateway go like this. Touch it, open it, and now your gateway would be like that. And then you can fit your core in on the top left of the green box. So that's how you should have walled this wall, in my opinion. Like, the doorway should be right there. Always keep that in mind. You should always wall from the first building to the second, because now you're in a fucking weird problem where you're like, okay, I left just enough room now to fit a core in here, but if I put a core in here, it fully seals my wall. So what you're going to do probably is you're probably going to put your core in a very weird ass location like right there, which is going to leave a big fucking doorway to cover. Is that open? Okay, maybe. Oh, okay. Fuck, dude. You got lucky. I thought that was actually perfectly sized for a core, not one extra. Okay. Okay, the student becomes the master. But yeah, I just keep in mind to prevent yourself from having fucked up walls in the future, just base your second building off of your first building. And yeah, we can see you're killing the pylon now. And the thing that's going to suck is killing this pylon as well is going to make your core go underpowered. This other pylon's too far away. So, at least I'm pretty sure it is. Maybe I'm going to be wrong again. And now you're just taking a base over here anyways. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure. I'm glad he built the second pylon. It's, yeah. Right, you're the one who said that. I don't like this probe sitting here. This is shit that high level players do that you don't need to worry about. This is not doing anything for you. Just get a build that's standard. And now the fact that you're because like you're like, oh, he's got speed. You already knew he was gonna have speed because you opened up with a speed opener. You opened up with a gas. And you could have confirmed if you make a sentry hallucination, you could confirm what he's doing anyways. And making a hallucination good, I was gonna say it would be good too because he hasn't, like, you can kill the overlord too. He knows that he starts. Okay, you should honestly, you should have killed the overlord. In my opinion, you should have killed that overlord first and then moved the phoenix out. This phoenix, it lasts so long. You could easily kill the overlord and then still scout his base. And here's the crazy thing: if this guy's if this guy's all-inning you and you supply block his ass, that fucks all-ins up so bad because no one's gonna just be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to make a massive, massive, massive supply cushion. And then I'm going to all-in you. No one is going to do that. Because if someone does that, their all-in is going to be really shitty. They're going to cut every corner that they can if they're going to all-in you. So if you do kill an overlord that they did not account for, by chance, you make it to where now their larva sits there for a little bit because they have to make another overlord to replace what just died. And it just hiccups their all-in a bit, and it sucks. Very worth it to kill that overlord. Now, seeing this, I'd be like, okay, I'm miles ahead. Fucking spine crawler. Like, I know he made the spine because he made 2 gates and he freaked out. But that's too much. He went for a safety pool gas and then made a spine. And now he's got double gas. And no roach horn. Like, I would expect, if I were you, I would say, okay, I'll scout this guy again in the future. I'll just go ahead and scout him again in the future. And, yeah, this is an awful economy. He's got double gas running on 1 base mineral line. This economy sucks big ass. Big fail by the Zerg right here. Big fail. In terms of the economy is fucking terrible. I would say a nice response to it as well would be maybe make a shield battery. Like make a battery like maybe like right there. Or like right here or something. The reason why is because there is a chance this dude could have a roach warren somewhere else. Like I fucking highly doubt. Okay, let's just say this. I highly doubt a gold player is capable of this. But what if he had a drone and he ran it over here and he built a hatchery like right there and he canceled it, and while the creep was still there for just a second, he immediately built a roach warren. Highly doubt a gold player is capable of that. But if I was playing this game and I saw Zerg do this with no fucking drones in the natural, the spine crawler is super bad, but no drones in the natural and double gas in the main, I'd be like, the only thing that makes sense is you are going to all in me right now. That's the only thing that makes sense. Like, why do you have no fucking drones? Your build sucks ass if you're just going to drone from here. So if you make just 1 battery, that gives you the ability to have overcharge battery. And that thing is fucking insanely it's overpowered battery is what it should be called. That thing is brokenly fucking strong. And it makes all-ins so much easier to deal with. You're still probing. Did you cancel this Nexus? Hold on. Did you actually cancel that Nexus? You made that Nexus there. I didn't even watch you do that.
Not the pro.
Okay. Don't ever do that. If you're going to commit to that, commit to it. If you're going to cancel it, fucking don't even start it. That's a little indecision right there, and that kind of stuff will fuck you over really bad. I know you did it because your pylon was blocking your Nexus, and you're like, what do I do? Oh, God. But just know in the future, if you ever commit to something like that, commit to it. Don't build it most of the way and then go, yeah, I'll cancel it now. Don't ever do that. The only time you should ever do something like that, ever, is if you are actually doing something weird with like your third base and the Zerg scouts it and he's really bad about scouting your base in general. Like you just know he's like, you're doing a good job of denying his overlords or whatever, and you know he doesn't have overlord speed. And you're like, I'm actually going to make a third Nexus, and instead you're making like 8 fucking gates as well, and you've just cut all probes. And then he scouts your third, you kill his scout, you cancel the Nexus, and you just all in him with like a warp prism with like 8 gateways. If you want to be super crazy like that with meta, again, that's like some GM level shit right there. That's the only time it ever makes sense to cancel a Nexus like that. Otherwise, if you're just like, well, fuck me, right? Like, this sucks. I would have said you should have just committed to the fact that you should have been on 3 bases. Like, build a pylon here, build a pylon here. Maybe make some gateways to connect to your wall, to your Nexus on this side. You could have located your army here and here. And you could put like maybe like, you know, another pylon right there to block that off. So the only entrance to your base is like right there. Maybe put a battery in the middle line. So you could guard the middle line with your units over here. You could guard this doorway with units over here. It's a bit riskier for sure, but it's much better to do that than it would be to build the Nexus and then cancel it when it's like 75% of the way done and just waste your money and waste your time. Okay, so you've gone Robo. You got to be careful too. I saw you just try to make a battery, but all of your units are on hold position. So what your probe did was it went, fuck it, can't build it. It was like a Brood War, stupid ass probe. You really need a battery right now. With what you scouted, it makes no sense to not have a battery. It's just safe in general to take a battery against Zerg no matter what, but especially when you scout a Zerg is going crazy fucking gas and no minerals. It makes a lot of sense to make a battery. I like your scouting. It's good. I like your scouting a lot. I really approve of how you scouted that. That's super good. You're scouting for a third right now. This is perfect. Second scout should do that. It's very this is scouting of like masters level or like GM level already. With your sentry usage. This is super 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 good. This is the best aspect of your play that I've seen so far. Your reactions are not great, but your scouting is super good. Like you're giving yourself the tools to scout properly. And you see a layer, and you saw a spire. That looks like a spire. Like it's very hard to read that. It could be a static defensive structure like a spore, but I would say like you should have moved a bit deeper into his main base. It looks like a spire, and why would I say it's a spire? What makes logical sense there? Late fucking third, no drones at it, really. We're at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. This is late as fuck. You just scouted gas, and you already saw gas priority. This is very Spire-esque. And it's a Spire. So this looks like a Spire. He's already showing you it looks like a Spire. So a great way to deal with the Spire would be, right, you just scouted it as it started. So a great way to deal with it would be one of two things. One is you go Stalker focused, or two, you go Phoenix focused. Phoenix focused is easy. You just make, well, you have to micro it a little bit. You make like 2 Stargates right now, and you just start chrono boosting Phoenix. And then by the time he gets to your base, he has like 10 mutas, or like 12 mutas, and you have like 5 or 6 Phoenix. And then you just keep making Phoenix repeatedly, and you have to like bait him into chasing you, and like even if you can, use your, like always lead him towards your Stalkers, or your shield batteries, or whatever. That'd be a great way to use your Phoenix. If you're going to go Stalker focused, you need to right now make 2 forges, make a pylon in every mineral line, which you have, make like 2 cannons and a battery at every base, and start spreading out your stalkers at every mineral line. Because if he shows up at your base and you're chrono boosting out shield upgrades with 2 cannons and a battery at every mineral line, and you're just making fucking stalkers everywhere, no matter where he goes, he gets punished by cannon, battery, stalker. And then once you have blink, but you should also, again, council is with this too, because you're going to go for blink, and every time he runs into your base, you can have all your stalkers collapse on the mutas wherever they go, and you can blink under him as he runs away from you. And you can get like an extra 1 or 2 muta pickoffs every time. And then as soon as he leaves, go back to sitting in the mineral lines like you were before. He shows up, blink at him again. And then once you do this enough and you have a high supply, you just literally go kill his base. Those are the 2 ways you should react to mutas. And even if you don't blink and you don't actually punish him, and you're again, we're talking gold level again here, or like plat level. If we're talking like B to GM status, bronze to GM status, do everything I just said with the stalker version, except for blinking at him. Just don't even blink. Just fucking stand in your mineral lines with stalkers, cannons, and batteries. 2 cannons, 1 battery, and stalkers just standing there while you're mining minerals. And take another base and do the same thing with your 4th base. And call it a day. Just call it a day. Be like, cool, I'll just fucking absorb your mutas every time. But the fact that you're making immortals is incorrect now. But I think you don't realize he went Spire. You're like not paying attention to that at all. So, this is probably going to fuck you. Triple Forge, never go Triple Forge. Ever. Council, good. Double Forge, good. Do not ever go Triple Forge. Too much. It's too much. Too expensive. Why? It's too fucking expensive. It sucks ass. I would say, against Zerg, a great way to learn how to go forges. When you get really good at StarCraft, you can honestly get away with going 1 forge a lot of the time against almost every matchup except for Terran. Double forge is excessive because all it's going to do is it's going to shrink your army size. It will shrink your army size because the upgrades are not free. They're fucking expensive. Also, it's going to consume a lot of your chrono boost if you're upgrading properly, and it's going to spread your chrono boost out a lot more. It's not going to make it more dense on specific upgrades that are more relevant and better at this point in time. So, you're going to get upgrades, all of them, slower, because you're going to get all of them at once. Yeah. Like, you're going to have 333 faster than you would have otherwise.
We're getting there, boys.
Yo, Sulfur, thank you very much for the 53, man. That's a fat fucking sub. Thank you. Appreciate that. My man. You would be at 333 before you otherwise would have been if you only had 1 or 2 forges. But if you only have 1 forge, you'll get to the level 3 of the 1 upgrade faster than if you have 2 forges. And if you have 2 forges, you'll get to 2-2 or 1-1 or 3-3 faster than 3 forges would. Does that make sense? Because you can make your chrono boost dense, like you make it more dense in the less forges you have. So you constantly keep it running in 1 forge. You keep it running most of the time in 2 forges. You keep it running sometimes in 3 forges. You can't fucking have a triple chrono boost constantly going in 3 forges. It's too much chrono boost. You would need to have like 12 Nexus to support that. Which upgrade is priority? In the situation you're in right now, you're going Stalkers. Weapons, always priority. Shields is second priority right now in the game you're playing. Armor is third priority in the game you're playing right now. If you were going to use Zealots, weapons is first priority again, always. Armor would be second, and then shields would be third. The reason why I say shields is second priority over armor in this game particularly is because you're fighting against someone who is about to start harassing your base. And you know what makes a base a lot better? Fucking shield upgrades. You know what also makes stalkers better? It also makes stalkers better. Half of their HP is shields. So it benefits stalkers very well, and it also benefits your base because it makes your probes last longer, it makes your cannons last longer, it makes your batteries last longer. Every building and unit in your base lasts longer, and it makes things like mutas way shittier. So this game should be double forge, shield, and weapon if you're going to go for stalkers versus mutas. But again, I feel like you have no idea he's going mutas because you're still making immortals. And now you know it's Mita's, hopefully. Okay, good. Cannon, cannon, battery. I like your shield. I think shield is a good upgrade to be going for right now. It's good. You're doing the right thing mostly. You're not getting a cannon battery in your natural though, which is a problem. I mean, you really, really, really need it. Because if he just rotates to your natural, it's gonna get fucked up. So, look at the power of cannon battery. Just look at the power. Like, no stalkers are even here. And look at the power of cannon battery. 1 Mita's already dead. 2 Mitas are dead. 3 Mitas are about to die. But he got out of range. That Mita right there about died. Nothing died for you, really. Basically, nothing died. I don't even think you lost a probe there. Or did you actually transfer probes, or did you lose probes right there? So he focus fired a probe. And he focus fired another because if his bounces were only hitting your probes, no probes would have died. 0 probes would have died if he was not focus firing them, but he did focus fire the probes a couple times, which is the only way he overpowered the battery's healing. It's the only way that happens. His bounce damage is not enough to one-shot the probe through the battery. So he actually focus fired a probe. Which is fine. It's whatever. But look how good that was. You would have lost this fucking whole middle line probably if you had no cannon battery, so I'm really glad you did that. And now, even further, imagine when you have shield upgrades. Your probes with the bounce damage will get reduced on damage that they take. The cannons will take less damage as well because shield actually upgrades the building armor of shields, which is half of the cannon's HP. And then he runs away, and your stalkers chase him out. That's great. And now you have another cannon battery at your third. Like, see how good cannon battery is? It's fucking insane. Now he goes back to your main. More cannon battery still here. He is getting fucking destroyed by cannon battery. And now you're like, remember what I talked about? You skip the natural. Don't ever skip a base. This guy was getting fucking murdered by cannon battery everywhere he went. And now suddenly he's like, ooh, no stalkers are here. And no cannon battery. Now I'll kill probes. If there were 2 cannons and a battery here as well, you would have shut that down easy. Easy peasy. And you really need to add a second cannon here. 2 cannons is pretty nice. 1 cannon's not enough DPS. I would have said that was a mistake, except for the fact that you have immortals. Because you have immortals, that was okay, what you just did. Like, blinking aggressively like that, it was okay because you have immortals, and your immortals can help pound the fuck out of this super fast. Oh yeah, I mean, overall, not bad. You went for the stalker route, and you look. Here's the thing, right? You actually are doing double forge only. You're actually only going for shields and weapons. You're not even getting armor on the 3rd forge. So I'm glad. Don't even bother getting that 3rd forge for now. It's a waste of your money. And what should have happened as well, the only thing I could say that you could have done better as well, or one of the things I would have said that you could have done better as well, aside from the static D, and just remember, 3 is kind of excessive too. Just do two cannons and 1 battery. That's it. So this 3rd cannon should be located over here or something. But what you should have done as well is, in my opinion, the second you had all your bases set up properly and you had all the cannon battery and you were chrono boosting your shield and your weapons, you should have taken a 4th base. You should have taken a 4th base. Because you actually put yourself into an all-in position, in my opinion, with how you just attacked. If you would have, because here's why. If you would have blinked into his base, and let's hypothetically say he had something to he had some like decent amount of units to still defend himself because he didn't go all in Mitas. He just made like 12 of them. If his economy wasn't so fucked up for so many reasons earlier on, he could have totally fucked you over, is what the point I'm trying to make here. He had so many reasons on why his economy sucked, but disregard all of those things. If your attack would have failed, like let's say you blink into a bunch of Zerglings and Spine Crawlers and you're like, oh god, My stalkers are getting fucking pounded. What would happen is your stalkers, if they would have lost that fight and you didn't have a 4th base yet, he could then contain you if he knew what he was doing. And you would be stuck on 3 bases until you mine out of money. And then he could go right back into mutas while he takes like 4 or 5 bases on you. That would suck. So just know that you put yourself, again, like I said, you put yourself in kind of an all-in position by not taking a 4th base and instead making a fuckload of gateways. It means that it puts, like, it's not a bad idea. It just means that you're putting massive emphasis on this attack winning the game. And if you're not really 100% certain about how to read a game, I would say that might not be the best idea. That might be an idea more designed for someone in like Masters or GM, not someone in Gold or Plat. You need to be very, very confident in your ability to read a game to make decisions like this, where you're like, you know what I'm going to do now? Fucking get a Robo Bay, get a Dark Shrine, get a bunch more gates, go to a total of, you have 4 already, and you're making, or I'll just click it. Like, doesn't count the ones that are currently evolving. You have 11 gateways. You have 11 gates, a Stargate, a Robo, and a Dark Shrine. You have essentially every tech in the game except for the Fleet Beacon and the Templar Archives. So, and you have no future investments of 4th base. So this is like, you need to fuck him up. If this Zerg defended this, you would be like, you're like, oh god, okay, I can't even afford to, like, what am I going to do now? Am I just going to make mass stalkers here? Like, you have so much production that you can't even maintain it at this point, is what I'm trying to say as well. Because you're already mining out of your patches in your main, and look at your natural. Your natural is also late, by the way. Like, games like this, they always sound fucked up, because when I'm like, look at your natural, your patches should already be being depleted, but your natural was so fucking delayed because of the pylon earlier. But your natural should have the same problem your main does. Half the patches should already be gone by now, by 11 minutes. They totally should be, if your build is going for early expansion. Your 3rd base should still be fine, but it shouldn't be fine for like forever. It'll be also getting depleted by probably like minute 14, 15. So keep that in mind. Keep those ideas in mind. Definitely, a better idea would have been, after you killed all the mutas, I would say scout the Zerg and make sure he's not being too greedy, and take your 4th base and go from there. I don't mind that you attacked him after you killed the mutas, but I think the way you blinked into his base was fucking YOLO. And if that could have gone sour for you, gone negative for you, you would have been fucked, because you don't even have a 4 started, and it's so hard to start one if you throw your army away. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It's just, I think you would have had a better chance to win the game if you would have just taken a 4th base and progressed your economy, and then won the game through power from that point on. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching replay analysis. I hope you guys liked it. Hope it made sense. Overall, not bad. Stealth, good shit. You had the right reaction overall to what you were dealing with. I'm glad what you did made sense. I like what you did. But yeah, good shit, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Work on that economy a bit more than you already are. Don't put yourself in this situation too much, and I feel like you'll have even more success in the future. Because you could have won this game even harder than this if you would have attacked him 3 minutes from now off of 4 bases with max supply. Or like 2 minutes from now. It wouldn't have taken that long. Anyways, guys, good luck in your own games. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace.